Hello and welcome back to another Resident Evil 4 video. Today I'm going to be leaving my review and thoughts of the Resident Evil 4 Remake Separate Ways DLC. Now, to be honest with you, I didn't think we were going to get this DLC until the beginning of 2024, around the same time that the base game came out. I thought maybe they were going to do a gold edition and release it, but Capcom literally heard everyone complaining and worrying about whether or not they were going to get this DLC or not, so Capcom said, don't worry guys, hold my beer, I'm going to release this next week for you guys for only $10. And that was another thing I was worried about. I was like, oh, a $10 price tag for this DLC. That kind of bums me out considering it was kind of free in the PlayStation 2 copy of Resident Evil 4. After playing this DLC, I completely understand why they put a $10 price tag on it, because this is by far cinematically one of the best DLCs we've had in the Resident Evil franchise for sure. Better than Resident Evil 5's DLC. I know some people hold that at like God tier DLC, but this DLC I think surpasses that. I mean, it's not 100% perfect, but I didn't think Resident Evil 5's was either. So I'm going to be listing my thoughts on this. It's going to be spoiler free for the most part. I am going to go over some slight spoiler details, especially when it contains the Verdugo and such stuff like that. But a lot of people suspected that that's what was going to happen in this DLC anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about that. But before we get started, go ahead and drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so you don't miss out on videos like this in the future. I really appreciate it, and it's just helping the little guy out. Everyone starts out like a Leon S. Kennedy and Resident Evil 2, and you know, maybe with enough support, maybe I could be like a Resident Evil pre-Resident Evil 4 Leon S. Kennedy, you know what I'm saying? Okay, that was stupid. Anyways, from start to finish of this DLC, it was fast paced. The pacing of this was just up in your face, like, get ready, hold on to your hats, grab your Gatling gun. You were gonna go into these environments as Ada, and you were going to kick some ass the whole entire time. And it was absolutely mind-boggling, insane. There were some missions where I was just like, God dang, like how am I supposed to get past this in such a fast time? They did such an amazing job with that because it didn't feel too fast-paced. The pacing was set the way it should have. It was a little bit unexpected because I was just going in like Resident Evil 4, the base game in the remake was fast-paced, but it was just, I felt like we had a little bit more breathing time in that, and where this is a DLC, there wasn't much room for that. It was just like, hey, you're Ada, you gotta go kick some ass and figure out what's going on in this storyline. Let's talk about some characters. Luis, back baby, thank you Jesus, he was fantastic in this, and it was heartbreaking all over again to see him die, but it's okay because we got to see him and go on an adventure with him one last time before his passing. Thank you, Luis. Rest in peace. Let's talk about Ada. Ada is still, I will say they did better with Ada, but she's still not as cool as what she was in the original Resident Evil 4. I kind of liked Leon and Ada's dynamic, and I know a lot of other people do as well. And in the remake and this, they still don't really have that love dynamic that we liked in the original, and that kind of bums me out. I was kind of hoping they would redeem that and explain why she's kind of been shady and quiet, but it didn't. Now, we did get some closure and some explanations why she was so distant with Leon and everything, but it wasn't exactly up to par with how she was in the original. That's all I can really say on that. But we got a lot of Wesker in this DLC, and by God, this is the best Wesker I think we've had. I am so excited if they do, and I think they're going to. I think they're going to do a Resident Evil 5 remake. I can't wait to go up against Wesker because he is pretty terrifying just to be a man. Sure, he's an infected man that has some enhanced abilities, but he is not one to mess with, and I cannot wait to fight this guy in Resident Evil 5. I'm going to be Chris Redfield. I'm going to be punching them boulders, and I'm going to be like, listen here, Wesker, back up, or you're going to get your ass kicked. And Wesker's probably going to kick my ass as well, but, you know, that's just the way it is. I was a big fan of Wesker in this. His voice acting was superb. His look was even better. He was just a sexy man's 100%. Voice, look, feel. he was just incredible, and I loved him. Seeing Leon was an extra treat. I'm glad we got to see Leon going around and us spying on him, and catching him with Salazar was really cool as well. Oh my god, I thought the final boss fight with Sadler was awesome. They did another incredible boss fight with him, and it was like a pre-spider form Sadler, and that was so freaking sweet. Like, I loved that, and he was terrifying. Let's talk about my favorite boss battle, and that was by far the Verdugo / U3. We called it, people, back when we first read the file in the base Resident Evil 4 remake. That second Verdugo was transforming into the U3 the way we know and love it, and he was terrifying. He was scary, and he was up in your face. The classic U3 battle was awesome, but Capcom did the unexpected with this DLC, and this is the spoiler that I'm gonna get at here. We kind of saw some hallucination type things in the trailers of this, and that is because we basically kind of got the Hookman version of Resident Evil 4, and they put it in this Verdugo DLC. The Verdugo was chasing Ada all over God's creation, and then he did the hallucination form, and then he created different versions of himself, and it was incredible. I cannot believe they even considered bringing back a Hookman type element in this game, and I am so thankful. That is an A+ chef's kiss move right there, and it was awesome. Let's talk about Ada's gameplay. She was absolutely flawless to play. It had a lot of Arkham Asylum type gameplay to it, especially with her Gatling gun. She was sitting there launching herself in the air, using it to pull shields and doing all kinds of stuff like that. She was faster, doing flips, all kinds of stuff. It was by far a really smooth and fluid experience, and you really felt like the super spy that is Ada. Like, you see Leon, and he is a badass in his own right, but then you play as Ada, and they're completely different characters dynamically, and the way they play is just so fluid, flawless, and they did such a great job on that. I'm gonna go ahead and go over some final thoughts here. I think this is, like I said, the best DLC that we've had. I think we have experienced some new things in this that I'm not gonna mention because that would be heavy spoilers, but there's some things that was brought back into the game that was removed from the original Resident Evil 4 remake, like the laser room and different stuff like that, but there was also some new additions added into it as well, such as a new enemy type that I'm not gonna explain, but I thought that was incredible. I think this DLC was very important to the overall story, and they blended it so well that I have to give this an A. It's not an A+, it's not perfect given the fact that I still have problems with Ada's character, but they redeemed her for the most part. I think she's still a little bit flat with her dialogue. I mean, they kind of gave an explanation why she's kind of a bitch, and in a lousy type way, but she gets a little bit of a redemption arc, so I'm happy with that. Did you all play Resident Evil 4 separate ways? Let me know down in the comments what your favorite part of the DLC was, and don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on videos like this in the future. And until next time, take it easy, bubs.